Like this whole border, this for example, this thing, this private members club is purely to make money.
Okay.
All right.
Should we go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
After what, an hour?
Hour and a half, actually.
Hour and a half, okay.
Hour and 36. Let
There
me
we
just
go.
set a timer.
Yeah, see.
So I know.
Sam was meant to
the
be
camera.
home right now, but instead, because of random phone calls, he's here.
You make me seem way. I'm committed, but like, yeah, I'll always stick around.
Oh
for
no,
a
I didn't
chat.
say you weren't committed, but come on. Yeah. Actually, it's not gone too late.
Nah, we're
it's
good.
reasonable, yeah.
But yeah, hello there, and welcome to Directors Debrief, episode 25, to the best of my knowledge, but no Ram to correct us
Yeah.
because it's 5 and he's gone home because he has a life to
He's
go
gonna
home
need
to.
to edit that. Yeah. Episode 25.
I know, dude.
A milestone.
We have hit a milestone, which I'll get into, but we have we're 1 or 2 episodes away from hitting a whole year.
Okay.
So 6 months. We're 1 episode away from been doing this for 6 months.
This for 6 months. Directors Debrief.
Yeah, 6 months worth of episodes. We've actually been going for like 8 or 9 months.
Okay.
Which is the longest podcast I've ever, longest series of content I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's
I
impressive,
have to give yourself credit, and Ram, to be honest, he's been pushing it. Well, he's been doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've needed someone to edit this for a long time, so I think having Ram to come and do that has been a massive help.
Definitely.
I want to kick off today.
Okay.
This is encapsulated entirely into the theme. I'm just going to bump this and get this closer. Into our reviews, which essentially I think is like, it's just a plea for a sponsorship, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean, you said it, not me. Oh,
Yeah. Right?
just had it in your pocket.
I just had it in my pocket. I had it upstairs.
Yeah, okay.
And I went to get it because you mentioned that name before we started.
So what is this, Sam?
So Heights, right? I'm not going to do it any justice. I'd actually recommend going to watch Dan Setver?
Dan Heights.
Dan Heights. Search Dan Your Height. If you probably know him better than you know us, but on the very quickly. This is all over the place.
Yeah.
Milestone that we hit. We are at 115 views. So the milestone we hit over 100 views. 100
Nice.
listens on Spotify alone.
Okay. We're getting there.
Yeah, YouTube has been doing all right. We're nearly at 1,000 views on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
It's going to just take one video, though, to just...
Yeah.
Just
I'm just impressed with the persistence. But anyway, back to this. He was on a podcast with Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO.
Yeah.
And yeah, it got my attention. And then all of a sudden, I can't remember what you said, but you told me you'd been taking it. And that was like the final push I needed to give it a go.
Was that all you needed? Because I buy into a lot of fads, or I trial them out. You know?
It was on my mind, and
Yeah.
seeing that somebody I knew taking it, kind of like, I think that's all it took. Just seeing somebody.
Confirmation, yeah.
Yeah, and when I asked you about it, you said that you were still not sure. Where do you stand right now? How long have you been taking it?
I'm into my, I think 2.5 months now. Yeah, so because I've just received my 3rd one, but I've not started it. So yeah, it must be coming up to 3 months now.
Yeah.
So you can buy it quarterly.
Yeah.
I believe you can do a 3-month consolidation parcel.
Yeah.
Or you can buy it monthly. It's much cheaper to buy it in a consolidation.
Yeah.
I'm still monthly.
I'm still monthly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my first package.
Sure, and that's fine at the beginning,
Yeah.
but I'm now using it, and I'm still not sure.
1 foot out the door.
Yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
Can I ask you two? Can I separate your thoughts on this?
Please.
First one, what do you make of them as an e-commerce experience?
Brilliant.
Right?
Yeah.
I was really impressed because I was really impressed at the fact that they had quite slow delivery times. Not quite slow, but by today's standards, I think it took me 5 days to get them. 5 working days. But I was still impressed. I still enjoyed using the website. I enjoyed ordering it, and the
Shopify website, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'll dig it up. But
Yeah,
so
I'm
e-commerce
pretty
experience.
sure.
What?
Yeah, amazing. It's how it should have been.
Yeah.
There were a few things that made me think they were still small. So there were a lot of things that were really good. There are a few things in their email marketing and so on.
Yeah.
Or certainly when I got it, even in a couple of months, they've improved it. That made me think, okay, these guys are still getting going.
Yeah.
I mean, their couriers, they use FedEx or something like
Yeah,
that.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think of FedEx as like international shipping.
So I don't know. I'm not saying that made them look small.
Yeah.
It just, that little tracking bit was a bit disjointed. But on the whole, yeah, really, really happy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, Shopify. Yeah. I was digging it up to see what
you can tell. There's something there.
We love Shopify. Shopify's incredibly robust, and we're big fans of the platform. I really liked the communications, and I normally don't. I don't like it when companies email me. I immediately unsubscribe. I haven't unsubscribed. I did the the health age quiz or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking it to deal with any issues, but I like that they have that quiz, and it felt a bit dumbed down, but like I need it to be. I'm not a mental health expert. I don't know much about certain things. So yeah, as an e-commerce experience, really impressed, especially the fact that they do feel a bit small.
Yeah.
To some regard, they could be huge.
No, I'm sure they are. To be honest, the rate they're going and the fact I'm seeing them everywhere, I think they're doing very, very well.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's nothing else like if they didn't have that e-commerce experience where it was, I'd be very shocked because they've only got one product, as far as I'm aware, or what I've seen, or one main core product.
Yeah, one vitamin. They have the Smart Journal, I think.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
But I mean, one core product, right? That's like a side product that they sell, but one core product. So I'm not saying it's easy, but they really just need to focus in on that. It's a large letter, all of that kind of stuff. They've got everything down to a T. Really great products. My qualms with it are that they're targeting a market that they know is very vulnerable.
Okay.
And I appreciate what they're doing. So you can take the angle of, oh no, but they're doing good for mental health and they're doing good for those that are suffering from it.
Yeah.
Some can see it that way, or some could potentially see it as an exploitation of the fact so many are suffering from mental health and are looking for a magic pill to fix everything. When in fact, it may not take a magic pill to fix everything. It takes real work and effort exerted, and that goes to us as millennials or Gen Zs or whatever we are. We want to take the easy route of fix it all. I want one thing to fix it all, rather than putting in the work to really go to the root cause of what's causing you your mental health issues or your concerns. So sorry, I'm just
it's a really good point.
As a product user, you know that when I buy into a product and I'm really truly there, I'll run with it. You know, I'm not hypercritical all the way. I do criticize, but I haven't been sold on heights yet. I feel I'm yet to see the full consequences. Do I feel good? Yes, I feel good. Is it to do with heights? How am I meant to know?
Yeah. Is it worth 40 of your hard-earned pounds sterling?
This is it as well. And that's playing into my thing of nothing. Like, that's a lot a month, right? That's more than gym memberships and things like that. It's a considerable amount, and which is why
it's more than a lot of supplements.
Yeah, and it's why in my head I'm justifying it as a trial period for me rather than this is ongoing. Because if I said £40 a month for the rest of my life, my word, that's it was starting a lot, right? So I don't know. When I say the exploitation, I really do hope it's helping people. So I want to be careful there. But on the same token, you're kind of trapped because, you know, when I think about heights, have I faced down days in the last couple of months? Yes. But when I think of that, I'm now putting that down to external factors.
Yeah.
But the good days, I'm putting down to this. And that's where I'm really stuck. And I think they've done it very well there.
It's like exam results. The good ones, it's like, thank God, with my parents.
Yeah.
The bad ones is because I didn't study them.
This is it, exactly. So I'm trying to be careful of not becoming addicted. Obviously, I use that lightly, but addicted to this because there are a lot of root causes that I need to look into. And did it catch you at, like, I guess their marketing caught you at times where you were maybe on social media or stuff like that?
Look, they targeted all the things that I think people like you and me want to fix about themselves. Brain fog. You got me into considering how important sleep is, that it benefits sleep, and it's not like intrusive. They're vitamins, and so they targeted me beautifully. You know, it appealed to me in so many different ways. Whether it's effective or not, I've noticed some things, and I'm curious to know if you noticed them too. I don't know if my sleep has gotten better, but I can sleep for as long as I want now. Like, I noticed this when I was in Manchester, and I was there over the weekend, and this might not even have been heights. I spent the whole day smashing shit up with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep at around midnight, and I woke up at about 8. 8 hours sleep, whatever. And then I woke up, checked my phone, and I went back to sleep. Normally I can't do this. When
Yeah.
I'm up, I'm up. And I went back to sleep for like another 4 hours.
Okay.
Like just conked out.
Yeah.
And even if I'm tired, I struggle to do that. So I that was the one thing that I was just like, maybe it's heights. But I do generally feel better. And I think the biggest question for me is it a placebo effect or not? And the only thing that will tell is time.
Yeah. Is there anything wrong with the placebo effect though?
I think placebo, no, if it doesn't fade away, I just can't see it fading away. Like, the longer I take it, the less I attribute to heights. Like you said, right? You attribute the good to heights. And I think if in 6 months, I'm not setting myself this deadline, but if in 6 months I still feel these benefits, I'll keep taking them. That's the kind of commitment I have in my mind. Because £40 is a lot of money. Yeah. But if these things I'm feeling continue for 6 months, if anything, they promise it gets better and better. And if that continues, then I'm happy to keep it up for the rest of my life.
I mean, that's it. That's where £40 turns into absolutely nothing in the grand schemes of everything, if it works, right? Yeah. And that's where I'm caught. So it's interesting how we didn't actually speak about this too much. Yeah. Like, I didn't even mention it to you.
No, you just mentioned you took it.
I think I was a bit ashamed of spending £40 on supplements.
Really?
Yeah, okay. To myself.
Yeah, okay.
Which then obviously is everyone else, because I was a bit like, hold on a second. Like, is this any different? Yeah. Is this there? But I was curiosity more than anything. Yeah. And but I'm taking a few things. I've watched a few of the videos. They speak about blueberries and blueberry extract. So I'm actually eating like half a tub of blueberries a day. Yeah, that's my goal. I need to look into if that's good for me or not. But yeah, it's little things like that that I'm attributing to it.
So yeah, heights, you have our attention and curiosity. Whether you'll keep it, we don't know. But so far...
Yeah. A 3-year supply would always help. But
you know, I mean...
Yeah, but... Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, the packaging is... I'm just going to come out and say it. It's gorgeous. I really like this. Yeah. I really like that it's beautiful, and I like that when you pop it twice, 2 pills come out. I don't know if you've had this, but like anytime you try and take pills out and supplements and stuff, it always comes out the right amount. Like I can get to. The one thing my sister and my mum both pointed out is those are omega-3 oils, right? Don't they need to, or like vitamins, don't they need to be shielded from direct sunlight or like UV light? Shouldn't that be tinted?
Potentially. I'm not too aware of that. Yeah. Something I did find interesting though is I always thought omega-3 had to come from the good omega-3 because you get different versions of omega-3. Yeah. Again, my knowledge is limited, but DHA and EPA or something.
They sound like acronyms I've heard.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's on the right line. So because you can get omega-3 in things like margarine and added things in flaxseed and stuff like that. Okay. But it's a different type of omega-3. But the ones found in fish oil are considered the best. Okay. Now, this is vegan. And that was...
Of course, you're vegetarian.
Yeah, so, but...
Oh, you're not... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do still consider fish oil okay because I crossed that bridge a little while ago, right? But this was interesting because this actually comes from algae, which is what the fish eat, which gives them the omega-3 oils. So this is the same omega-3 that a fish you'd get from fish oil, but it's vegetarian
without the fish.
Yeah, it's vegan.
So here's the deal. Dan, hit us up. Tell us why this isn't tinted, and if you want to give us a year's supply, we'll talk about it a lot more. We'll be honest. We'll always be honest, but we'll talk about it a lot more.
What do you think their margins are?
Dude, you and I always have this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about how sexy that packaging was. Yeah. Out of 40 quid, how much did that cost?
Dude, packaging's expensive.
Yeah.
But if they're buying them in big enough bulk, dude, it's easy.
We're talking what, a couple of quid for that max?
Yeah, because the what's it called? The greater
economies of scale.
Economies of scale. This is the biggest thing I've seen. It was on packaging. You can go from like £3 or £4 per packet, all the way down to like 80p, 50p. Because I got to thinking back when there was another business I wanted to set up, and I was like, how do McDonald's do it? How do McDonald's sell a burger for £3 when the packaging is what I'm seeing as printed packaging too? And it's scale. It's all scale. Yeah. And at some point you can get it down to like, I wouldn't be surprised if they paid like 5 or 6p. Yeah. So I think, you know what, right now, their margin, they're hoping for a big enough, if they're as small as we think they are, they're hoping for a big enough success that they can be profitable later. But I don't know, like...
15%,
20%, but like...
No, I'm thinking their margins...
Bigger?
Huge. Yeah. Enormous. Like packaging...
Yeah.
whilst they may use very high quality products,
yeah,
at this stage is a difficult one. But I think they're actually quite far on now.
Yeah. So they could easily afford to give us a year's supply.
I mean, he doesn't even need to like think about it, to be honest. But no, I would be saying they're making like the max that's costing is about a tenner.
Yeah.
Max.
As a packet.
As a full combo. Not even that, to be honest. But there's a lot in marketing and development and things like that. So yeah, fair play.
And that rolls us on into, let's keep the focus on brains, mental, and thoughts. Okay. Not mental thoughts, the mental as an entity, and then thoughts as an entity. I've been doing a lot of thinking about empathy lately, because I got into a really petty argument recently. Right. And I realized I've elevated my levels of pettiness. Okay. I teased you this story, but I got into a parking altercation where I believed that I had parked perfectly legally. Yep. I later found out it wasn't. Okay. But I parked the car and I got out my car to one of my neighbors just like shouting at me. I'd driven from Manchester 3.5 hours. It's normally only a 2-hour drive, but I'd hit traffic. And I had a long day, and he comes up to me and he goes, "You can't park on my driveway. I'm parked on a public road." And I had the logistics of it we don't need to get into it. Sure. But basically, he accused me of something I hadn't done. Okay. I'd parked well away from the road. If he needed access, I had about 3 or 4 meters in front of my car worth of a gap. 2 or 3 cars could have got out at the same time. So he had no right to be that angry, and he accused me of something I didn't do. Okay. However, I had done something wrong. He said, "If you keep it like that, I'm going to photograph it and complain to the council." Right. Which he did. He was photographing it as I was collecting my bags, and I went inside. And I looked it up. And it turns out I was in the wrong. I had illegally parked there because 1 full wheel was over the dip of the curb. Sure. Just 1 full wheel. That's it. Okay. I had maybe 30 centimeters of car over the gap. I looked it up, and then I immediately looked up what the fine was. And if paid within 14 days, the fine's only £25. Okay. And so I went, fuck it. Yeah. Like, it's worth pissing that man off for £25 because I was just like, he just came and shouted at him. And then as time went on, I started to think more and more about, like, I don't know, what's going on in that man's head? Was he, like, I don't know, maybe earlier in this wild scenarios I'm throwing out there, I don't know this man, I've never spoken to him before. He felt like emasculated, and he had to show in front of his family like he was the man, and he had to come out and have a word with the guy that was by the way, first time I've done it, but like he had to have a word with the guy that was parking in front of his driveway. Or maybe he'd had an emergency at some point and he was too blocked, like it cost him time. Sure. So you're now looking beyond what the surface level of what you saw. So let me ask you a few questions then. Oh, hold on, before you do. Yeah. I just need to reset the camera. Yeah.
You alright? I could.
No, I'm just going to do the shit.
Questions to ask you.
Go ahead.
Do you, honestly, hand on heart, do you think you would have reacted differently had he been calmer about it?
Had he been calmer about it? Possibly.
Calmer about the situation.
I think there's a much better chance of me handling it differently had I not had an extra 1.5 hours worth of driving just stuck in traffic. Stop, start.
Okay, sure.
So I think there's a bit of a weight on me here. Like I had a responsibility to handle that differently.
Okay, cool. So maybe this requires firstly self-empathy. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but I'm going to say
let's go with it. Yeah.
So it's more understanding what you've just done there, awareness of why you're reacting in a certain way. So okay, yes, this guy is shouting at you. Yeah. But why are you also taking in a certain reaction? Yeah. It's almost like you were ready for him to shout at you, or you were ready to kind of stir something up, and that was because of your extra hour of driving. Could have been something even prior to that. Someone's family member may have said something, or you may have got a certain phone call, whatever. Sure. So, firstly, I think that's a really nice way of zoning in on that. But anyway, I digress. So onto the man himself. Yeah. You think that if he had approached it in a certain way, there's a chance.
There's a good possibility, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that you would have reacted in a different way. Okay, cool. Okay, so you kind of took a view of why is he reacting in a certain way from that angle. How did you feel once you'd done that or gone through that process?
What, later? Yeah. A little bit guilty.
Okay.
Like, I could have parked elsewhere. Like,
what made you go down that journey of thinking about how?
Funnily enough, another story.
Okay.
because I wondered if I was being the right amount of empathetic, because there is too little empathy and there's definitely too much.
Okay.
And I think in that instance, I had too little empathy for him. And something reminded me of another experience where I'm not going to go into it, but somebody really screwed me over. Both financially, they gave me the wrong... I was expecting something from them. I was paying a lot of money and they really screwed me over.
Okay.
And but in doing so, their place of business had committed a substantial crime, and I had evidence of it. And I was so contemplating reporting them or not, and I wanted to, and I was just like, you screwed me out of about £150.
Yeah.
You claimed you'd have something ready for me, and you were about 5 days late, which put a lot of parts of my life out of sync. It was to do with my car.
Yeah.
Put my life out of sync. But in the meantime, my dad very generously let me borrow his car. So it put his life out of sync too. Collectively, I was like, I should report him. And then I was just like, because I have his WhatsApp number, he's got a picture with his kids. It's like, his kids didn't do anything, man. I don't want to put their dad out of work.
Yeah.
You know? And like, that's where I was just like, but then when will the world improve? Like, when will he stop committing that crime that he did?
Sure.
And when will he stop giving people wrong estimates and overcharging them by £150?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
all right. So let's go to your... I love this.
So I thought that, and then I was just like, okay, but that was the time where you had too much empathy, and this time you had too little. And I don't know what the balance is.
So what would, in this scenario, what would have been too much empathy?
I think what I did, I didn't report him in the end.
No, sorry, not the guy. Sorry, your car situation.
Yeah.
At your flat.
Being apologetic and moving my car immediately, because he accused me of something I didn't do. I didn't park on his driveway, and just going, sorry for parking on your driveway, getting in my car and moving out. I think, I think that would have been too much, because he would have had too much power over me, right?
Yeah, and he would have started. That would have started to
a chain reaction.
Yeah, to get to his head almost and start claiming land that wasn't his or taking No, I look at it in different situations. I'm trying to kind of see where you can go too far and too little. It's really interesting. So what's the point of this exercise?
Right. So to link it back to us as entrepreneurs and as directors, you and I are both in leadership positions. You and I both have a series of direct reports.
Right.
What is the right level of empathy to give to our team? Because if you look online, I think everybody's overcorrecting. Everybody is just like, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, you need to be given this, you need to be taking that, you need to be doing all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in return for what? Not in return for what, but like, what if you're giving all of this and you're not getting any of that back? Or vice versa. What if somebody who works for you is giving you all of this and you're not giving them anything back? Where's the healthy balance?
Sure.
I think you have. Do you think you have a good level of empathy?
I'd like to think so, but again, I see myself as very much someone who looks back after 24 hours or 48 hours, and I think, maybe I was a bit overreacting there, or maybe I was a bit overly empathetic there, and so on.
Yeah.
I treat it, or I'm starting to see it in a different way, where just as you mentioned, with the person that got away with it in their role, I see people, the LinkedIn post, right? Like, be that empathetic boss, like do this for your employees, make them happy. It's very surface level empathy, and it forgets to see the external complications that could happen, right? So I don't know, make up a quick example of an employee that you're really empathetic to. So they may turn up very late every day, and they may have a reason, or there could be something behind it. So you almost let them off a little bit, like, no, they're going through tough times at home. I'm well aware of that, so I'm just going to let it slide. But by doing that, you're actually contributing to a kind of a second degree or a third degree effect, or impacting them, where, yes, you're cutting them some slack there, but in return, they're becoming less organized in their life overall, because they think they can get away with coming in at any time and being disorganized there, that their work starts to take a hit, which may impact their overall career. Really going too far with that. But that's where I think people look too much at the surface level things, because that's easier to measure. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I like that. I think you've dug into something very interesting there, because I think, let's use that example, right? You could argue that the healthier approach to something like that is to give that person a constant. Right? If there's something that they're unhappy with, or if there's something that is troubling them outside the confines of work, and they come in and work has changed because of it, I would argue it might even be healthy if work stays the same. You know, like it's a constant of like, I come in, I leave my troubles at the door, and I like, this is the same. This is not affected by that. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to get at. This is not affected by that. When I'm here, I get to put that there where it belongs, compartmentalize it, deal with it, of course, in due time. But I get to come in here and everything's the same. This is the part that isn't affected by that.
Right. Okay, so I like that.
Yeah.
I like where you're going with that thought. Now explain that to the LinkedIn mob as a leader and as a boss. And for them not to say to you, well, of course you're going to say that. Yeah. You want them here. You want them working as hard as they can. Yeah. That's not real empathy. That's just you trying to bend empathy to work in your favor.
Yeah. Look, valid point. I would say, what evidence do you have that letting them get away with lateness works? You know, I think this is the part where I might not have enough to back it up. And you're right. I am advantaged by this. I get the benefits of this. But what's to say that your way works? This is the whole thing that got me in a lot of trouble for posting on LinkedIn about working from home. Not working from home, sorry, flexible hours, where you just give the complete control over to the employee, rather than sit down and have a discussion and just go, what requirements do you need, and fixing something in. And it's the thing where I got mobbed for that post.
Can you remind me of what you said in that post, please?
I put that, and again, some of it was to draw some attention and comments. Yeah. But it was that I don't really like flexi hours. Yeah. I don't like the concept of just like you need to be here from 10 to 4. Outside of that, you choose. I much more prefer to go, okay, so you got kids, which means you got to take them to school. You can be in by 9:30 on a daily basis. Let's do that. Everyone else might start at 8:30. Everyone else might start at 9.
But keeping a constant.
Yeah, but keeping it a constant, because I'm a big fan of routines.
You know, that LinkedIn post has probably aged incredibly well, given in like what's going on at the moment. I bet you're loving that. Obviously, Elon recently posted about how he's completely against flexible working, but that's very gone to the extreme, maybe. Some people may say, but I think,
I didn't disagree with his ideas. I just think his tone lacked empathy. And like maybe even a little bit of respect. It was like, I slept at the warehouse. Why aren't you? The thing, why, like, he didn't say that, but you can see how that might come across. But his points I agree with. And I think it's very easy to look past the actual point when he talks like that.
I think he does that as a bit of a statement because he knows that's going to get leaked. And
the thing with that though is, I phrased my LinkedIn post in the same way, right? I focused it around flexi hours when my core point was routine. And that drew the attention in and allowed me to have a discussion with people. So I get why you did it.
No, but it's very good. And it's something I've learned a lot from you, and I'm learning a lot from you, is the power of routine. Because you explained in your previous roles and things like that, how that was, that was put to you, that routine is healthy, time management, all of that stuff. Accuracy is important. So, it's something you've been a big advocate on. But anyway, we've digressed. But going back to empathy, as a leader, obviously this is something that's recently happened, or it's been an ongoing thing over a recent period.
For me? Dude, I've been thinking about empathy for a very long time. I've been more focused on like, how do I find the right balance?
Sure. And I guess the answer continuously varies, right? And it's never going to be all right, I've fixed it, I've solved this. But how's it helped you as a leader overall?
I think it's helped me, funnily enough, right? Here's the example, Elon's email, right? I think empathy allows you to look past the tone of that email and see his core message.
Okay.
And I think that empathy should allow, if done correctly, this is my end goal. This is not what I've achieved. My end goal is to be able to see past the surface level and to understand what is the best thing to do for that individual. That's what I'm hoping to do. So not letting them get away with it, making sure I'm strict on time. Like, you have to be here at a certain time. But let's say they're coming in late because their child is ill. And last minute, they're like, I got to take my kid to hospital. Do that, no repercussions. Maybe that's a genuine bit of empathy.
Sure.
Something where they feel like, there's still a separation. That's my problems, and I don't want to think about that. But when I come here, if I have to tend to those things. So I think the end goal should be beyond the surface level. I'm really glad you said that because it's helped me layer that in my brain.
Yeah. I think that's where that human nature has to come into it, because when it's all just by rule book, and certainly you see a lot of these companies, and they have to be, right? You look at a company like Amazon, for example, when they have the number of employees that they have in their fulfillment centers, it's very difficult to add that layer of human, kind of human reasoning there, because at the end of the day, they've got employees coming in, employees coming out, temps. People don't know the story about everyone. They don't know who's telling the truth, who tends to fib a bit and who doesn't. So it becomes very difficult, and that's something maybe you and I have the luxury of being able to have that human nature. But how do you do it when you really keep scaling up? How do you continue to have that constant and avoid the whole robotic nature, which kicks out empathy? In case.
I don't know. Yeah, I still don't know if I made the right call with that car mechanic, because I realized I don't know. Like I tend to go through phases, and we all do. And one of the phases was like, I want to do things in the best interest of, sorry to sound cheesy, but like the greater good, right? I want to do like the person. I'm still figuring out who I am morally. I think everybody is. Nobody figures it out. They just die trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, what should I have done? What was the right thing to do? And I really overanalyzed that situation in my head, because I was like, if I was to have reported him, his garage would have been shut down. And basically, my car was not safe for release from that mechanic. And he was kind of just like, do you know what? If you want it so quickly, just take it.
Yeah.
And I accepted it. I took the car back, knowing full well there was something not safe with it. And that's where I was just like, he should have never signed off. And if I would have reported him, I'm pretty confident something would have happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sat here. I looked at his, like when I texted him, I saw that his kid was there. I protected their dad's livelihood.
Yeah.
But what if he signs off on another car and that car ends up in a pileup?
Sure.
So, yeah, it's still one of those things. And it's like, what part of that was ego as well?
Yeah.
Like, you screwed me over, so I have to shut you down.
It's a very good point. I think what the kind of the thing that I look at is the fact that you're even giving it some empathy. Shows that you're not just being completely reactive, right?
Yeah.
The human Sam has taken a moment to step back from the situation where he was very reactive, or could have been very reactive, and he's taken a step back and he's gone, okay, how do I analyze it? Whether 2 years down the line he'll go, well, I messed that up, that was the wrong decision for me to make. At least you've taken those moments to think about it, rather than simply being reactive. Like there was some examination period or kind of like that took place, and I think that's all we can live off, right? We're not going to make the right decision every time, but at least we took a breather and thought about the entire situation.
You ever overthought a decision?
Oh, completely, all the time. Yeah, regularly. I mean,
ones that you regret?
Just even a moment ago, we had a situation here where someone came in and we had a bit of a cold call.
Yeah.
And part of me, it was annoying to me, right?
Yeah.
In the flesh, that look, I have no issues with cold callers, but there was a bit of an issue with this one, in particular, the way that he presented himself into our building. But I took a step back. I went upstairs whilst I was a bit angry. I was like, oh, maybe I report this guy to the company or whatever. This was a very poor play cold call. This isn't what I said. And I said, well, firstly, is this good for me? And I thought about myself, would this help benefit me by reporting this? I couldn't think of a good reason. If anything, this is just going to make me more time consuming, and that I see no benefit. So I look at that, right? We're all selfish in a certain way. And I looked at that. Then I looked at him and I started to think, okay, why did he come here in the first place? He didn't just come here for fun. Like the guy looked like a hard worker. I'm sure he is. Yeah. I started to see some graft behind him, and I was like, at the end of the day, yes, what he did was probably ethically wrong. Yeah. But he's a grafter. Yeah. And who am I to criticize a grafter at the end of the day? Yeah. Yes, I wasn't happy with him in the moment. We were busy. We were doing other things, but. Like at the end, I've been there. I've probably disrupted someone else's day, whether I picked up the phone, disrupted their meeting, or whatnot. So, yeah, I'm constantly playing that out in my head. I didn't realize how much I play it out until you obviously brought this up today. But I've also got better at living with my decisions. And I think that's something I wasn't so good at before. Yeah. Where, say, I've decided to digest a situation and then make a call. Yes, I may think about it, may linger in my head a little bit, but it's done. and what more could I do in that situation? If there is more, then fine. But 9 times out of 10, that the moment's gone.
Yeah.
It's best to learn from it and do better in the future. Yeah.
I like that because it's a fun twist on something, and people who know me know I don't necessarily like Gary Vee, but he said something that actually stuck with me, which was he was talking about like making decisions. Him and I, like I know him, but he makes a point that I very much agree with, which is like you should always make a quick decision and just commit to it and move on. And he's just like, and for those of you who think, oh, what if I did this? Like, I have a choice between 2 jobs, and you go for that one. You're like, oh, what if I went to that one and I got paid more?
Yeah.
Like, all right, what if you went to that one and you got hit by a bus in your commute? You don't know all of the variables of that one.
Right.
You do know all the variables of this one. So you
Live
can't. Yeah, there's no such thing as what if.
Yeah.
Like, what if assumes too many things. Like, one, you don't get hit by a bus. There's a lot of buses in this scenario. But yeah, it's assuming if you'd have gone the other way, you're assuming a lot of things happen that technically never actually happened for it to go as well as it did.
And what you're doing there is you're comparing against the negatives of a certain situation, right? Like, man, this is what I'm earning and this is what I'm earning. But then you forget to look at the positives that you do know happen in scenario A that you opted for.
Yeah.
And you forget to realize that in scenario B, they're not automatic, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that happened by chance. I managed to do this and this and this, and I got to see my family and do this or this. That isn't necessarily what could have happened in scenario B. If anything, it could have gone the complete other way, as Gary Vee said. Yeah. Maybe not a bus, but something else. So I think, we're as humans, we're very keen to look at the negatives. Yeah. And when we compare and forget the positives of
it's actually a thing. The negative bias. It's heavily influenced a lot of social media networks. I'm regurgitating some stuff I heard on another podcast.
That's what most people do.
But I'm trying to be authentic by claiming that I'm not being authentic. But that's why it's the example they used was if you're driving down a motorway and there's a beautiful rows of bed of flowers and a car accident on the right, you're gonna 9 times out of 10 you're looking at the car accident. Sure. You're not looking at the flowers. Yeah. And so apparently by this same methodology, this influences social media's like browse features, not search, but browse when you're scrolling through Reels or something, or like TikTok or whatever. It's negative bias. I mean, some could argue it's how Trump was elected in the first place. Sure.
This is one of the reasons, as humans, as much as we all try to stay clear of it, we like gossip, and certainly by nature, people like to negatively gossip. Or negatively listen to the news.
Gossip is rarely positive. Yeah. So that's rarely, not really. It's rarely positive. So that's interesting.
I just think, right, as much as like I myself, when I hear certain members of our family or whatever gossiping or even veering on gossip, I definitely always try and exclude myself. Yeah. But there's no doubt that a certain part of my mind is intrigued and interested, right? Like, oh, did that really happen? Yeah. Oh, how bad for them. We don't know why it is, and there could be some part of our human brain that sees it as a defense mechanism or something to know negative about someone else. I'm not too sure, but that's interesting in that respect. Yeah,
I think we're rounding this episode how we rounded up the not the last one but the previous one where we talked about money, Bitcoin, and investment. Of like no idea. You know, how do you? What is the right level of empathy? How do you make the right decision? And I think it is a case of like, I don't know, you just got to figure it out. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, I think if we were to give some tangible help to anyone,
dude, whatever you got, I'll take it.
No, I mean it's not great, but it's my 2 pence on it is the fact you're even feeling empathy is a step in the right direction. Yeah, the fact you're even thinking about that situation that happened, rather than just. I know Gary Vee's whole thing of you made a decision, move on. Yeah. The fact you're even giving it a moment's thought, that's healthy. And
so try and make the next one better. Don't overthink the previous one, but try and make the next one better.
Absolutely,
that's our advice.
And I think that goes for everything in the world, right? Just look forward.
Doesn't apply to bank heists.
No. All right, what a way to end it. But really nice episode, man.
Yeah, really enjoyed this chat.
Loved it. So thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment, subscribe, like. We're about to really put our foot on the gas now with content and going forward. So let us know what you want to hear next in the next 25 episodes or however many. And feel free to subscribe, whatever you do, wherever you are. And see you next time.